You mentioned mob violence earlier. Is there organized crime in South Africa?
Organized crime is a problem in South Africa. So because of this, the fact that people have lost faith in the system, what we are seeing is a vacuum developing in South Africa, a political vacuum, in the sense that firstly, people are just losing faith in the government. They're losing faith in political leaders in general. People vote in high numbers still, but they vote reluctantly. So they would look at all the parties and say, well, this one looks to me to be the least bad, so I'll vote for this one.
Yeah.
But they vote because they want to get the ANC out of power, the ruling party. But the ruling party, even though they've lost a lot of support in the last election, they still win the election. And so the problem with this vacuum that's being created is vacuums want to be filled. They tend to be filled. And so the vacuum in South Africa is filled by bad actors. It can be filled by bad actors or good actors. And the bad actors are gangs, mobs, organized crime, different mafias that we have, who have in some ways become an authority onto their own, that the government or the police isn't even trying to intervene. Wow. They're just too scared of them. So we have that. And then the good actors is just communities being better organized, being well organized, where they are making sure that they keep their own community safe, they keep their property safe, they protect each other, they have their own institutions. If there are problems with the government schools or universities, they build their own. And so you can fill the void by being constructive, or you can do nothing about the void and just see how it eventually gets filled by bad actors that makes life worse for everyone.
What's the biggest group of organized crime out there?
There are many different gangs in South Africa, the 28 gang and the 26 gang. A lot of them are prison gangs, have something to do with prison activities, especially more in the south. And then there are different forms of mafias. So one that is quite significant is the construction mafia.
Construction.
So what the construction mafia does is, and it's just a reality that you can't ignore anymore, is let's say you build a shopping mall, then or some big complex or something, then the construction mafia shows up, usually with an expensive car, and they say, well, we see that you are building this property and you need to employ our people, you need to use these service providers and so forth. If you don't do this, we're going to vandalize your property. We're going to make sure that you're not able to build this.
Wow.
If you don't use us, the project isn't going to get completed. So that's one example, and they have immense power, and the police are largely powerless against them. And it's gotten to the point where big construction companies just need to have teams on how to deal with the mafia. Otherwise, you don't get your project built. It's crazy. Yeah,
that's insane.
It's really bizarre.
It's like the old Italian mafia days.
Yeah. It's very comparable to that. Yes.
Wow.
I mean, there are other forms of organized crimes like criminals. Vehicle theft is a big thing, with syndicates stealing vehicles, taking them outside of the country and so forth. Big underground networks. Cigarette, tobacco, the tobacco black market is a vast network of organized crime, and there are some politicians connected to that. People bringing tobacco illegally from over the border, and there are many such examples of these networks of organized crime operating in South Africa, and the police are just not able to do anything about it.
So you have to roll with security everywhere, then, huh?
Yeah, we do. So you can count in South Africa, if you count up the total number of the army, we spoke of, that isn't very efficient, and the police force that isn't very efficient either. You count them together, so the police and the army combined, you then have to multiply it by 2, and private security in South Africa is still bigger than that.
Wow.
So private security is more than twice the police and the army combined.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's because if you don't have private security, you have no security. And so in a certain sense, that's why I mentioned on the interview with Tucker as well, that I think the threat of mob violence is bigger than the threat of some form of a government clampdown, because the government doesn't really have the power to do a lot of these radical things that they want to do. But what they are doing is inciting the mob, inciting people to commit crime, what politicians are doing. If it's not the government, it's politicians. Scapegoating, blaming especially the white farmers for everything that is wrong with the country, saying that every hardship that you experience has nothing to do with you. Everything should be blamed on those people over there. And so that is a serious threat.
Yeah, and the government's too afraid to arrest some of these people.
Yeah, because some of these people are involved with the government. So it's very alarming. And again, just pointing back to the fact that it's not sustainable. Something's gonna happen. It's gonna reach some form of a boiling point.
Yeah.
And that's again why it's so important for countries that were involved in creating this mess to be involved in solving this mess.
Wherever you guys are watching this show, I would truly appreciate it if you follow or subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps us get bigger and better guests, and it helps us grow the team. Truly means a lot. Thank you guys for supporting, and here's the episode.